I'm thinking of adding a solar array and battery storage to my new garden room. And if you're interested in following me on that journey, stay tuned. Welcome back to the channel, folks. JD here again. I say again, I appreciate it's been a long while since I put any content out. I've had a few issues the last 6 months or so, family bereavements, that kind of thing. So I've been sorting out probate and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, that's by the by. So this channel, as you know, is all about saving money, especially when it comes to car finance. And more recently, I've been looking at EV salary sacrifice schemes and comparing those, and then also occasionally looking at EV charging tariffs, because I've got, or I certainly have had, quite a few electric vehicles. I've got 2 at the moment, and so I'm always looking at ways of running them cheaper, especially now pay per miles coming in 2028. So a little bit of backstory. So I moved into this house about 18 months ago, and after I'd done the usual things of decorating the house, I set about building this, and this is where I'm doing this video from today. So this is my garden room, which I designed and built. My wife got a greenhouse, which you can see, and I got the garden room, and it's a 4 by 4-ish, it's about 15 square meters anyway, but there's a small section to this side, which is where the wiring is, and we'll talk a little bit about this in a minute because it will make sense when we talk about solar, but the actual room itself where I am is about 3.9 by about 2.5, and as you can see from the video, it got me thinking, because there is a really good roof space. It's an EPDM rubber roof. It's a warm roof construction. Most garden rooms you'll see on YouTube tend to be what we call a cold roof construction or a hybrid roof construction. This is a warm roof construction, so it's really well insulated. And what I thought was, it would be really nice, as a little bit of a project, to look at plug-in solar. Now, plug-in solar has been a thing for a while, but in the upcoming months, hopefully towards the end of summer 2026, it's going to be legal, if you like, to plug in a solar system. Now, what does that mean? Well, and please comment on this video because this is new to me, but essentially it means that you can take your solar array with or without battery storage and plug it in to a 13 amp socket and get, in the UK certainly, up to 800 watts back into your home, which means that you can make some quite substantial savings. And I thought, because I don't really want solar on the house, I thought putting solar onto the top of this roof will be really quite nice. And I reckon I can get about 4 solar panels up there. So what I want to do today, in the spirit of this channel, I want to pretty much off the cuff do some fag packet maths in Excel, just to see, taking some theoretical examples, what I might be able to save before I invest in the project. And I will document the project. The system that I've been looking at will probably not come as much of a surprise to most of you who are into this stuff already, is the ecoflow system. So ecoflow do various different systems. And I've been looking at this, which is the ecoflow Stream Ultra X. Now, this is a system which comes with 4 450 watt panels, along with battery storage of 3.84 kilowatt hours. Now, I'm sure it won't be 3.84 kilowatt hours. There might be it might be a little bit less due to efficiency losses and that kind of thing. But as you can see, it's £1,699. Now, I've got it down in my basket with various discount codes and things to about £1,500. So that looks pretty good value to me, because a solar panel is about £100 each, depending on where you go. And it's also got 3.84 kilowatt hours of storage. And also, I don't know how much we can see on here. Oh, look, the pictures are all the same. That's useful, isn't it? But as well as being able to output up to 800 watts back into our house system, we can also connect a device directly to the battery, which will output up to 1200 watts. And there's two of those. So that got me thinking, because if we go back to my video showing the way that I've wired this, which is this one here, there's basically 5 circuits in this garden room, and I can't pause it. Oh yes, I can. There we go. So you can see there that we've got it's a 10mm armoured supply from the house on a 32 amp breaker, 32 amp MCB. Comes into here, and I've got 5 circuits. I've got a 16 amp radial for the power in this office. I've got a 16 amp radial in the shed space, which is where I charge my tools and plug my batteries in and that kind of thing. And then here, look, I put in a separate 10 amp circuit just for my office heater. Now my office heater, which I haven't got a picture of, is just to the left here, and it's a 1 kilowatt Wi-Fi panel heater. I can run it through Home Assistant, I can run it through an app on my phone, so I know what the temperature is, I can schedule it to come on, that kind of thing. And because it's only a kilowatt, and because this room is so well insulated, unless we are really, really cold outside, this is enough really to heat my garden room in as little as 20 minutes to 30 minutes. It's really good. And what I thought I might try and do as part of my installation is I might get rid of this 10 amp circuit here, and I might wire it directly into, with appropriate fusing, into the back of the ecoflow Stream Ultra X, because that means that I can power all of my heating, hopefully, off the battery. Now, this is a 3.84 kilowatt hour battery, so in theory, if I wasn't using the battery for anything else, I should be able to heat the garden room up for about 4 hours. Now, obviously, that's assuming it's on continuously. So let's say duty cycle, it's on 20 minutes an hour. That means 3 times 3.84, I could heat the shed for 10 hours off the battery. So that's what I'm thinking. So what I'm going to do now is just go into Excel, and this is totally off the cuff, so apologies if there are mistakes, but I just thought I'd do a little bit of man maths so that I can justify to my wife that this is a good thing to do. So we have going to have 4 450 watt panels, which gives us a theoretical maximum generation of that didn't work, did it? Oh, I know why. Hang on, bear with me. So we've got a W, haven't we? Let's try again. Right, so we've got a theoretical maximum generation on a perfect sunny day. I should say the garden is south facing, and I am going to plan to put the solar panels on 20 or 30 degrees. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm reading that even though I'm just under 2.5 meters to the height of my garden room, we can go up to 600 millimeters above that for solar. So I'm going to angle them on sufficient brackets such that we've got about 20 degrees, 25 degrees into the direct sunshine. So hopefully we'll get reasonable generation. So in theory, we'll get 1800 kilowatt hours. Now, that's never going to happen, I'm sure. So let's take a conservative estimate, and let's say that on average, we generate 250, which gives us obviously a kilowatt. So if I didn't use the battery at all, and we're generating on a really good day, obviously not throughout the winter, but on a really good day, let's say we're generating an average of 1 kilowatt hour, not 1000 kilowatt hours. So 1 kilowatt hour. And let's say we get that for 8 hours. So that means 1 kilowatt hour, 8 hours a day is obviously equal to 8 kilowatt hours in a day. Now, in the daytime, I'm on Octopus Intelligent Go, and I'm on their variable tariff, which at the time of writing, let me just get this right. Where are we? Octopus. Just look at my tariff details. And I cannot find where that is anymore. Where is it? No contact details, support, no. I know it's here somewhere, but where it is, I cannot remember. Where is it? I can't find it. But basically, it's about 28.5 pence daytime and 6.9 pence overnight. So let's say, obviously in the daytime, if we've got 8 kilowatt hours and we are paying 28 pence per unit, then in theory, that means each day I could save £2.24. That's on a very good day. Okay. And that's with 4 450 watt panels, but only generating an average of 250. So that's pretty good. Now, what I would like to do, what I'm thinking of doing, when I'm not using the heater, my understanding is such that we can determine our base load for the house, and then any excess solar will go in to charge the batteries. So let's say our base load, now there's only two of us here, our base load is on average of 250 watts. So our base load of 250 watts, that means we have got 750 watts that we can charge the battery with. So battery charge, we've got 1,000 minus that. So in theory, I should be able to pump 750 watt hours into the battery. Now the battery, looking on here, is 3.84 kilowatt hours. So the battery capacity is 3,840, which means it would only take around that over that about 5 hours to fully charge my battery. Now again, I'm assuming really good sunny weather, and I'm only assuming 250 watt hours per panel. It could be more, it could be less, but let's say between, I don't know what, April to October, April to September, we're averaging 8 kilowatt hours a day, and I can charge my battery in 5 hours. That means we've got an excess of about 2.2 kilowatt hours. Now, I'm not going to send it back to the grid. I can't be doing with that. Where that's going to go, I don't know, but that will help top up when the ovens come on, that kind of thing. So I think it's a good idea. Now, what also I'm thinking is, I'm on Octopus Intelligent Go, as I said, and we pay 6.9 pence. So even in the winter, even though on a cloudy day when there's no solar being generated, another advantage of this is that if we've got 3.84 kilowatt hours, and I think these charge, and again, please correct me, but let's say these charge up at 800 watts. That means it would take that over that. So it would take 4.8 hours from completely empty to completely full to charge the battery. Now, the standard window, as I'm sure most of you are aware, for Intelligent Octopus Go is 6 hours. So between 11:30 at night and 5:30 in the morning, I can schedule my battery to be charged, and it would be fully charged in 4.8 hours. Then I can use the battery during the day to either power the house, or, as I said, I can plug my 1 kilowatt heater into the battery and run the heating in the office completely off the battery. So that's what I'm thinking about. We'll leave it there for now, but what I will also say is what I might do, because even though the plug-in solar legislation is coming in and it's 800 watts plugging into a 13 amp socket, I may put it on its own dedicated circuit. So what I might do, because I've got a spare way in my consumer unit here, let's just have a look at the consumer unit again. So you can see in here, look, I've got a spare way here. So what I might do is I might put in a 16 amp bidirectional RCBO. I'll put a fuse spur, and I'll connect the ecoflow stream Ultra X. Rather than throw a 13 amp plug, I wire it into a switch spur and put that switch spur on its own circuit via a 16 amp bidirectional RCBO. That's the better way of doing it, so I'm told. Okay, and then what I might also do is get rid of the office 10 amp MCB and wire that through a spur directly from the 13 amp output on the EcoStream, so that I can power up to 1200 watts. So remember, this is only a kilowatt heater. 1200 watts from that 13 amp output on the back of the battery and power the whole heating for my garden room in one go. I hope that was reasonably interesting. I'm hoping it's going to happen, and I'm hoping I'll be able to document the whole process, and we'll look at the savings over, say, a month or 6 months or a year or whatever. But it looks like there will be at least, certainly when we've got hot, warm, sunny days, about a £2.20 a day saving. And when there isn't any, let's actually look at one other thing. If I've then got 3.84 kilowatt hours to use throughout the day, now we don't use that much of electricity here. Our base load, as I said, is probably 200 watts. So apart from when we put the oven on or the cooker tap starts doing its thing, or the hot water taps are available, no affiliation with cooker or cooker, however it's pronounced. But when we turn that on, when we turn the ovens on, there's obviously going to be a spike. So then we'll be feeding from the grid. But for our base load use, I think we'll save quite a lot, even in the winter, because we've got 3.84 kilowatt hours of energy that we can use throughout the day, and then we can charge it again overnight. So there's two things I think I'm going to be looking at. One is solar covering base load and charging the battery. Another thing is using the battery's dedicated 13 amp output to power the heating. And another thing is charging the battery overnight on the cheap tariff and then running the heater or the house, whatever, off that battery during the day. Okay, like I say, there are other tools available. So again, if you're new to the channel, if you're looking at salary sacrifice schemes or generally financing a vehicle, I have got various tools, and I am also working on a new HTML web page where you'll be able to use the calculator rather than having to use it in Excel. Until next time, thanks very much for watching. Please comment and subscribe and give this video a thumbs up if it's useful to you. And I'll see you next time for some solar installation, hopefully, if I can buy one.